Thank you so much, Daniel.
We are also here with Ni Note Tiaka the second. He's known in private life as Magnus Note Okwe. He was a prison officer at Asher Fort. He was chief superintendent and 2IC 1975 to 1983. Good morning, Ni.
Good morning.
Hope all is well.
Thank you.
This morning we are going to take a trip back some 36 years in history, where an outrageous crime was committed. The lives of 4 persons were taken in a matter of hours because some people were not satisfied by decisions they took while they were just doing their jobs. This morning, we are not going back to remind people of pain. What we are going back to do is to ask ourselves, how could this happen? And are the reasons why these things happen still existing today? Are people still unsatisfied when judges, not just judges, when teachers, bankers, politicians, radio station workers are just doing their job, standing for the truth, standing for justice? We've tried to repair our nation after that. There's been the National Reconciliation Commission. There's been a lot of efforts. Persons have let go. But really, have we learned the serious lessons we need to learn from this thing that happened 36 years ago? Before we go into the meat of the discussion, listen to this. It's a wrap of that documentary, Who Killed the Judges, written and produced by Raymond Aqua. Listen.
The documentary gave an account of a bloody history thought to have been swept under the carpet.
So we traced the long, tortuous journey for more than 2 hours from Ridge, where these judges were picked up, and specifically to the shooting range here at Bundase. The judges were lined up here and shot, then set on fire. These perpetrators left with the hope that the bodies could never be traced and they will never be found. Fortunately, heavens opened and it rained that night.
It was one about accusations.
There's a brain behind the killing of these people. If the Attorney General tried to hide the facts behind this case, then I don't know what his end will be. I rather prefer to sacrifice myself and die at the tertiary range on my truth. I once again call upon the 30th Operational Commander, Lance Corporal America, Mr. Amatekwe, Sergeant Anluga Akatapore, the chairman of the PNDC, who I know very well and I trusted before as J.J. Rawlings, Captain Kojo Chikata, special advisor to the council, and by then members of the PNDC to come out and tell Ghanaians and the whole world the truth behind the killing of these 3 High Court judges and the retired major.
Denials.
I have been living under the pain of having these allegations made against me year in, year out until today. I have done my best this morning to demonstrate to this commission why I believe that the ICIB began a political conspiracy against me.
And a firm statement of claim and confession.
He said, "Oh, you forget about that. We have killed them, and so what? What are you people saying? All that you people are doing will not go anywhere." I said it will go anywhere.
Kwabena Ejay Japan, son of Kojo Ejay Japan, one of the judges murdered, tells Joy News the nation must learn from the brutal incident.
I thank the station because sometimes it's important for Ghanaians to know what has happened in the past. And that's why we should not take our democratic dispensation for granted at all. People sacrifice their lives, people sacrifice their businesses, and all of us have to sacrifice for our country.
Former National Security Advisor Brigadier General Nunu Mensah says there's still a lot more to be uncovered despite the copious facts revealed in the documentary.
I was acted as a member of the PND, the Chief of Defense Staff. I thought I knew what happened. Many people thought they knew what happened. Is that very true?
And that was a report on that documentary and its aftermath. Who Killed the Judges? A special assignments documentary put together by Raymond Aqua. It's 15 minutes to the top of the hour here on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. I am Daniel Dazi. I'm here with Dr. Ali Duseidu. He is a political scientist and a lecturer at the University of Ghana. He specializes in the work that the National Reconciliation Commission did. He's done a lot of research into that, and we'll be talking about that as a family. And Ni Note Tiaka II, known in private life as Magnus Note Okwe, was a prison officer at the Ashford, chief superintendent and 2IC there from 1975 to 1983. Gentlemen, good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Good morning.
Great. Let me start with you, Nitiaka. You were there.
Yes.
When these things happened.
Yes.
And now you have seen the documentary.
Yes.
I'm sure it takes your mind back to those events of 82. How was it like back then?
I will not be able to start from where the judges were picked and where they were killed. But then, after the incident, arrests were made, and these young soldiers were brought to Ashford prison. I remember Jandu, Tekpo, Senya specifically. Then later on, Lance Corporal America were brought to Ashford prison. Now, in the midst of the various confusions within the revolution, I was arrested and kept at the BNI, not the headquarters, but the one around 37 military hospital.
Okay.
Yes. I was arrested in September. So I was there September, October, till second week in November before I was released.
Okay.
Now, when I was in the cells at the BNI, the Special Investigation Board started its job, its work in the compound of the BNI.
Oh.
Yes. And we were in the cells of the BNI. So the SIB started inviting America and co. Now, when America was brought into the compound, he was kept in our cell. So we were with him in the cell. Now, he was brought under the pretense of being mad.
That he was mad.
That he was mad. That
Okay.
He was not normal, insane.
Okay.
Yes. So, if I should reveal, our assistant were sought by the SIB that we should sort of help, educate, or whatever. So when America was brought, we put him through a kind of orientation. In the first place, we made him to bath, and then we had a room where we had various kinds of food, a lot of it. So after bathing, we introduced him to the room that he should eat whatever he wants to eat. He went there and he said he didn't know what to eat. We said he should take anything. After eating, he came to sit with us and we started playing cards and Ludo. It was in the midst of the conversation that he asked, say, who are you? And I said, I am a prison officer. I was at Ashford prison when you were brought there. We had another person, Sub-Officer Sakite. He also introduced himself. We had another person called Nipadi. He also introduced himself that he was a lecturer at the University of Ghana and then Maharishu University. He teaches meditation and other things.
Okay.
Then there was this Lebanese, Samti Ashi, who was doing mosquito coil and fridges at industrial area, Kaneshi here. Yes, John Ashi. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. He was a Lebanese. We were all in the cells. So after the introduction, he asked why he had been brought into the cell. Then we told him, initially we told him we don't know, or we didn't know.
So at all this time, he was pretending that he was sick. He was mad.
No.
Okay.
He had kind of gained or realized himself because of the kind of orientation. Go and bath, go and eat, go and do this. We took him through that.
Did you know that this was the America who had been involved in the killing of the judges at the time?
I knew him at Osherford before.
Good.
Yes, so
Good.
I knew.
Good.
Yes. So this time he was speaking and was behaving normally. Yes, normally. Yes. So we took him through that. Then we got to a point and we asked him to go and sleep, that we will call him at 2 a.m. And he agreed. So he went to bed. And 2 a.m., 2 a.m., we called him. And we told him that he has been brought here to give a kind of evidence. Now, whatever he will say will lead to his being alive till God knows when. Or we let him be killed. So he's to choose one. Then he kept quiet. We were all quiet. And finally, he said he wants to ask us a question. Okay, ask the question. He said, do Chairman Rawlings know about me, that I am here? We said we don't know. What about Captain Kojo Chikata? We said we don't know. Meanwhile, you are here to either kill yourself or save yourself. Then we inform him that he will appear before the SIB tomorrow morning. We don't know the questions that he will be asked, but our advice is that he should go there, and when they start and he is not comfortable, he should ask permission to come back. So if you could listen to, in the documentary, there was the leader of the SIB who mentioned that they gave America permission to go back. And the next day when he came, he was talking like a parrot. You could see that.
Yes.
It was, yes. It was because when America came back from the SIB, he gave us a little hint about what happened in there. And so we told him again that now you have your life or your fate in your hands. Just go and tell whatever you know. Before then, when we woke up at the early 2 a.m. there, we started asking questions about how the judges were scared. And he narrated it. And he mentioned Amatekwe, that he, America, was working at the broadcasting house. And Amatekwe came there with specific instruction and a paper. Give him the paper on which there is a diagram as to where they should pick the judges. Meanwhile, they have been educated or, brought into the system as to what they were going to do by
Amatekwe.
No, not Amatekwe. Alorga.
Okay.
Sergeant Alorga. And when Amatekwe gave him the diagram and told him what they should go and do, he told Amatekwe that the vehicle he was using, that was one of the Fiat Campalola Jeeps.
Yeah.
He, America, was using one. And Amatekwe was also using one. So Amatekwe came to Broadcasting House with his Fiat Campalola Jeep. And America told Amatekwe that there was no fuel in his vehicle. Meanwhile, Amatekwe had gone to Castle filling station and filled his tank full. So there was petrol in Amatekwe's car. So when America said there was no petrol in his car, Amatekwe agreed and gave his vehicle to America. And he, Amatekwe, left. So America, also from the instructions from Akatapori, knew where to get the other men, Jandu, Tekpo, and Senya. You could also remember that in the documentary, some other names were added, like Nsrowo,
yes,
like Gomelesio.
Mm-hmm.
According to America, these people were late or they didn't actually come. So the four of them did the job. That is Senya, Tekpo, Jandu, and he, America.
Okay.
And Alorga took them to a room where smokes, this Batakali had been kept. So all of them picked one to wear. So after wearing the Batakali, they started picking the judges. They went to Bondasi, shot them. They had a gallon of petrol, sprayed the petrol on them, and they left. They didn't stand there to see whether the bodies were burnt or not. So they left. And as your documentary said, it rained. So the fire was quenched. Now, when he went into the SIB and gave this report, because he mentioned Amatekwe that he brought the note, Amatekwe was arrested and brought into our studio into our cells after America. So when Amatekwe came, we had to go through the orientation. He was also under the opinion that Rawlings could save him, Kojo Chikata could save him.
What did he say to make you think that?
Yes. He asked, there was a question that was put to him, and he asked, what is Chairman Rawlings and then Kojo Chikata, what were they doing about all these things? So he was answered that, look, you were at Kofodra prisons and Mabo prisons and Oshafo prison. So you are here. If there is anything they want to do for you, they would have done for you. We told him that. So now you are your own life is your hands. So this is where he told us about the note that he had gone out of his office.
Nitiaka, I don't want to, I hate to do this now, but we have to take a few important messages, and we want to hear what exactly happened, what he told you about the operational note. I believe this is the operational note that he showed America which authorized them to drive around at a curfew time.
Yes.
Great. We'll take these very, very short messages, and then we would come back. But before we take these messages, you are just hearing the voice of Ni Note Tiaka II, known in private life as Magnus Note Okwe. He was a prison officer at Asha Fort from 1975 to 1983, but he was also arrested during the revolution, and he was kept in a BNI cells where he met Lance Corporal Amedeka and Amate Kwe. Whilst they were wards of the state, they were being questioned by the SIB, and he's sharing with us what Amedeka told him, what Amate Kwe told him. He's sharing with us his impression of them. I'm curious to find out how you think Amedeka escaped prison, because that's what happened, and when we come back we'll deal with that. But before we go for these messages, the HR Focus magazine is proud to present the HR Focus Conference 2018, a platform that brings HR professionals together to discuss and offer solutions to topical issues affecting the world of work. Join other HR practitioners as they discuss the theme, Enhancing Employee Experience. Date is 5th October 2018. Venue, Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences. Time, 8 a.m. prompts. To attend the conference, subscribe to the HR Focus magazine for 50 Ghana cedis and register at hrfocusconference.com. To become an exhibitor, call 0249 188 155. Now, Hotline is brought to you by Melcom Where Ghana Shops. It's a super duper deal in the Melcom Best Buy promotion. Enjoy amazing cracking deals on selected supermarket products such as cornflakes, Indomie noodles, Milo, Omo powder, Guinness Stout, and so much more. Remember, terms and conditions apply. Melcom Best Buy promotion. Super duper deals always. Melcom Where Ghana Shops. We'll be back after these important messages.
With Melcom, you need to be ever ready all day, anytime. At Melcom, we love to see you shop for quality, save more, and shop again. Oh yeah, it's the Melcom Fire and Ice promotion. And you, Melcom the Fufrabe to me, a friend of Fire and Ice promotion. Enjoy deals up to 20% on our entire range of refrigerators, chest freezers, and gas cookers in all Melcom shops nationwide. Melcom Fire and Ice promotion has over 400 items on display, and it's all just for you to purchase and save more. Hurry, don't be left out. Take this opportunity to get more discount. Visit any of our Melcom branches nationwide and enjoy the best. Melcom, where Ghana shops.
Good day, my one and only human resource manager.
Good day, Abna.
It just occurred to me, now that our colleague is no more, what's going to happen to his wife and children?
Oh, that one. The company has a unique Glyco Group comprehensive insurance cover for staff. And the good news is that Glyco Life has already paid a claim for our late colleague, so his family will be well taken care of financially.
Wow, this is so relieving to hear.
Yes, the Glyco Group comprehensive plan provides a 24-hour adequate group life cover for employees or members of associations. Should any employee be injured in an accident, suffer disability, terminal diseases like heart attack, stroke, kidney failure, or even death, Glyco Group comprehensive plan will pay substantial benefits to them or their beneficiaries. Moreover, the plan also takes care of our company's legal liability under the Workmen's Compensation Act. Abna, close your mouth.
Amazing. Keep up the good work.
So, my fellow corporate human resource managers and executives, call Glyco Life on 020-422-113 or 050-125-6336. Email to customer services at glycogroup.com or grouplife@glycolife.com to have your employees covered under the Glyco Group Comprehensive Plan.
At Afrodan, we believe that many of the problems people have with their health is as a result of the way they sit. In other words, your chair can kill you. Here's Dr. Marcus Mann of the Chiropractic and Wellness Center.
What you have to remember is that the spine is the lifeline to your body, and posture is the window to that spine. Now, posture is affected by your daily activities and habits like sitting. That's why at the Chiropractic and Wellness Centers, we recommend what I believe to be the best chairs available for preventing not only subluxations, but also other health problems that you may not be aware of. And that's Rabami and Mobilex chairs. Unfortunately, on a daily basis, I have to correct the effects of this poor sitting habit in our businessmen and businesswomen. Always remember, optimal spine equals optimum health.
So, for the sake of your health, buy Rabami or Mobilex chairs from Afrodan. We're on the first floor of the Swansea Shopping Arcade. Telephone 663-085.
Her name is Faye. The first time we met, I knew she was way ahead of her time. She gets me, you know. She watches my back and even covers my blind spots with her blind spot collision warning system. We're safe. No strings attached with her wireless device charging, and that is very convenient. My eyes are always on the road when we ride because Faye has heads-up display. And boy, does she run smooth. I feel like she was made specially for me. Get a taste of the future. The all-new 2019 Hyundai Santa Fe. Now available at Auto Plaza Limited, the home of Hyundai. Call us now on 0240-065-030 or visit our showroom at Auto Plaza, Nahia House on the Kanishi Odoko Road, next to Fisherman's House building at the Dansoman Hansonic traffic light. Hyundai. New thinking, new possibilities.
This October, we sing to the heavens as the MTN Stands in worship. It's been a great year, and we have every reason to go before the throne in thanksgiving. Come, let's worship our Maker as we are led in worship by great servants of God. The Venerable Pastor Joe Beecham, Yao Sapo, Eugene Zuta, the Bethel Revival Choir, Obapa Christie, Celestine Donko, Koda, Sami Oposo from Nigeria, and from South Africa, Patrick Duncan. MTN Stands in worship comes up on the 6th of October at the Fantasy Dome Trade Fair Center, Accra at 6 p.m. sharp. Dial *711*85# to purchase your ticket via mobile money. Media partners: Multimedia Group, Peace FM, Sunny FM, DDP Outdoor, Graphics Communications Limited, Free Music, Footprint TV, and Praise TV. Join us, praise God, as we say thank you for how far He has brought us.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
8 minutes past 9 on the Super Morning Show. Enjoy 99.7 FM. I am Daniel Dazi here in the studio with Dr. Ali Dusedu, lecturer in political scientist, and Ni Note Tiaka II, known in private life as Magnus Note Okwe. He's a prison officer former prison officer at the Asha Fort, and he's also a former prisoner at the BNI cells at 37, and he shared a cell with these men who shot and killed the judges, Tekpo, Jandu, Senya, Amedeka, and Amatekwe at a point, especially during the SIB hearings. And he's been sharing with us, first of all, what Amedeka told him and how they met and the experiences that he had with them. And he was just about to tell us the explanation Amatekwe gave them as to how he got an operational note, and that's what you were on. Yes. And can we go on now?
Yeah, okay. Is the mic open?
Yes, you're on it.
Amatekwe started narrating his story. He said he was out of his office one day. When he came back to the office, there was a note on his desk with a weight on. When he collected the note, there was an instruction on the note: send this to Lance Corporal Amedeka at the broadcasting house without fail. Signed, Captain Kojo Chikata. So we asked him, did Captain Kojo Chikata sign? Did he see his signature? He said yes. His name there, he said yes. Where is the paper? He said he destroyed it. Then we told him, if he has the paper, that will save his life. If he has destroyed the paper, then he will die. He has no evidence. He will die. We told him this. So it was that paper he sent to Broadcasting House and gave to America. So we told him specifically that if he says he has destroyed the paper, then he has no evidence. He could die. And during the orientation, I introduced myself. I knew his father. So yes, I knew his father. So I mentioned his father and told him a lot about his father. So that brought him, he felt he was comfortable, and he started talking. Yeah. So actually, after he gave the note to Amedeka at the broadcasting house, he got out of the scene. That the operations, he didn't come into the operation itself. after giving the note to America. So he also gave the SIB the evidence to this spot. But because America had come to mention him and mention Alorga when Amatekwe finished with the SIB and left, Alorga was brought to the cells. Now, he didn't sleep in the cells. He was brought to meet. He was brought directly from outside to meet the SIB. But when he met the SIB, he said he will not talk until he sees Captain Kojo Chikata.
Aloriga speaking there.
Yes. So his interview did not go on. So Aloriga stayed with us in the cells. And for 12 days, he was on hunger strike that he would not eat. He didn't know why he was in the cells. And he wants to see Captain Kojo Chikata. If he wouldn't come, he would not speak with the SIB. So 12 days he was not eating, not even water. Until on the 12th day, Dr. Cranton from the police hospital was sent to Oshafor prison to examine Alorga. And he advised Alorga that his state was critical. If he wouldn't eat, he may die before the next day. Still, he insisted. And to be honest with you, something went on we didn't know. Whether Captain Kojo Chikata came to meet him or didn't meet him, I don't know, or we didn't know.
Okay.
But the next day, he started eating. I mean, before the next day, he started eating and met the SIB. It was at this stage that the SIB were expecting Captain Kojo Chikata to appear before them, and the Interior Minister, Johnny Hansen, was giving the report, and he didn't know. Now, that is, yes, that's it.
Right.
Now, I want to bring, that's
right.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Ni. Notichaka the second. You've walked us to the personal experience that you had with these guys at the time.
Yes.
And it was almost all of them. Amedeka, Amatekwe, Aloriga.
I was in the BNI on 2 occasions.
Okay.
September to November in 1 occasion. And then after the 19th June 1983 coup, I was at BNI again, this time at the headquarters. And that was where I met Amatekwe and America in the 37 BNI.
Yeah.
But when I went to the BNI headquarters after the 19th June 1983 coup,
the abortive
coup, Jiwa's coup, that was where I met Tekpo, Jandu, and Senya again. So it was, we were in that cell when Tekpo, Jandu, and Senya were removed from the cells, and they didn't come back again. They were killed.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll come back to you on what you learned from these persons in speaking with them, Tekpo, Jandu, and Senya. But let me take a quick word from Dr. Ali Duseidu. Of course, these are things that you've had to study, things that you've had to hear, Dr. Seidu, that you are hearing from Ni Tiaka II. But do you think that these issues were dealt with well by the NRC, were conclusively dealt with by the NRC, the Reconciliation Commission?
I don't think so. I don't think Truth and Reconciliation Commissions or any other restorative justice, transitional justice mechanism can be able to deal with issues of human rights abuses holistically. Because if you look at the murder of the High Court judges, 3 High Court judges, was one of the most topical issues that was part of a very holistic border human rights abuses. And if you look at it, it was basically attributed to two reasons: systematic, or the system, and then personal. So if you look at the whole concept of the system failing to provide for people that it was supposed to provide for, the system failing to regulate, administer the rule of law and justice, necessitated people who had already planned or had personal quests to win power, either the legitimate or illegitimate means, to take advantage of the situation. So even if people have the personal quest to govern and the system doesn't present them the opportunity to seize power, they can't do that. So if you look at the work of the NRC specifically, it was meant to address both the personal quest for people to offend and re-offend, but also addressing the systematic challenges of providing people the opportunity to take advantage of the system. If you ask me, I think to some extent they achieve both, but not holistically. There are still remnants of most of the issues that led to there's still remnants of the issues that led to the coup and all those things happening, but people are still greedy and still wanting to get power, either conventional or unconventional means.
And it brings it back to what even happened with the 1983 coup, because here, the abortive coup, I should say, because here there are 3 or 4 men in prison who feel they are being imprisoned wrongfully, or not everyone who is involved in the case has been imprisoned, and one of the solutions is to take part in a coup. That's how they felt they could. Of course, Doc, these things don't happen nowadays. People just don't feel like they're seizing power. But can we say then that Ghana has grown beyond that era? We call it a revolution era.
Yeah, to some extent, we still have most of the issues that has necessitated some of the coups that we've had in the past occurring. But it is now kind of the willingness of the Ghanaian citizenry to accept the military to intervene in our democratic dispensation. I think last year a survey was done by one of my colleagues at the department, 60 years after independence. They were actually looking at the way Ghanaians still perceive our military. And most of them, I think majority of them, think that the military was actually meant to defend the territorial sovereignty of the country and not to usurp constitutional power. If you look at the work of the National Reconciliation Commission, I think about close to 90%, because it was like 89.something% of the human rights abuses that had occurred under the military regimes were perpetrated by state institutions, security institutions, the prison services, the police services, and then the military. So some of as part of the recommendations, they were supposed to undergo a kind of security sector reform the way these particular people are recruited, the way they are trained, and inculcating the whole concept of discourse of human rights, respect for human rights in their training. But most of these things have never been done. So now, people's perception of the military is quite different compared to their perception about the police force. Because since 1992, the military hadn't had the opportunity to intervene in the way we govern ourselves. They have limited their responsibility to protecting and defending the territorial sovereignty of the country.
But we still see cases of police brutality.
Excellent. It still happen. Cases of police brutality, police indulging in unconventional practices, because we've heard in the news over the years that some of them have been arrested, either selling out their guns to people who rob, or they have been part of those who rob. We've also heard all these instances of is it accidental killings, shootings and killing by police officers. So people think that over the years the police hasn't learned so much lesson compared to the military, following the work of the National Reconciliation Commission. But commissions of this kind is not just establishing them, but it is more about implementing the recommendations that come from their work. So if you just implement them, they do their work, and then the recommendations are not followed, strictly implemented, then we are going to go back to ground zero. So I think it had to do with a lot of circumstances, but the most important thing is that you were never expecting a restorative justice mechanism like the establishment of a Truth and Reconciliation Commission to address all the ills of society, specifically human rights abuses. So from the onset, the NRC could not have fully addressed these issues. Definitely. Okay. But to some extent, it did a lot. So for the work that it was set out to do, it did, didn't it? One of the most. It's on paper. One of the most important. Let me ask Nitiaka to expand on what do you mean by it's on paper?
Yes, like Doc was saying, the National Reconciliation Committee finished their work, and whether the recommendations they made in their report has been implemented is another thing. For instance, I appeared before the National Reconciliation, and I asked that if it was too late for me to be reinstated in the prison service, because we were dismissed under the revolution.
Mm-hmm.
If it was too late for me to be reinstated in the prison service, my retirement date should be taken from 19th June 1983 to where I should retire, because by that time I was only 39 years.
The time you went to appear before the commission?
Yes.
Oh, the time the coup occurred?
The time the coup occurred.
You were 39?
Yeah, I was only 39.
Okay.
So could you remember that I have retired at my age of 39?
Okay, so back to the point I was making.
So that lends credence to what you're saying.
Yes.
That even though, yes, to an extent, for the purpose of us hearing the story and people letting out what was on their hearts, that was done. But what was supposed to be done was it?
Mahmoud Mamdani, it's rather Michael Ignatieff. He talks about the fact that the work of Truth and Reconciliation Commissions are to reduce the number of truths that are told to the general public uncontested. So if such the most important thing, that's why the name truth, the word truth appears in their name. They are supposed to provide people the opportunity to ventilate their grievances about the past, but to reduce the number of truths that go uncontested. So what the work of the commission did and the kind of work that Raymond did is actually narrowing the whole concept of what broader assumptions we've held about the murder of the 3 High Court judges and what has happened in the past. So people who were privy, people who were deeply involved, give their testimonies to the commission and then to this particular kind of documentary. So we are now gradually narrowing down to understanding the circumstances, the broader systematic context within which these things occurred.
Now that we understand, we have a better understanding of this context. Let me come back to Nitiaka and ask a simple question. Do you think that as a nation we have learned what we needed to learn so that we have enough respect for justice and truth and integrity in our society?
No, that one I can say that. Yes, I can say that. Otherwise, people will not just go to radio stations or TV stations to say what they want to say. We've come very far. Yes.
Whenever I ask people who lived in that era this question, I usually get an answer like this.
Yes.
Doc, freedom of speech, multiplicity of the media, we've come a long way. But, Doc, from where you stand, being so used to freedom of speech and multiplicity of the media, do you really think that at the heart of it, we have grown beyond that?
Yeah, to some extent. You see, there's one thing having a provision that guarantees freedom of speech. And there's another, the people who benefit from it, using that opportunity responsibly. So over the years, we've had, in the fourth Republican dispensation, in typical heated election campaign platforms, you've seen politicians saying, Ghana will bend. If I lose, Ghana will bend. So what kind of lessons have they learned from the work that the National Reconciliation Commission did? So it speaks to the two broader points that I made at the beginning, system and then personal quest for power. The system can provide the enabling environment. It is, if it's self-regulating, to actually put people into perspective, to respect the rule of law or make provisions or guarantee the rule of law. But to what extent will people seize that particular opportunity? People still think that if things are not going the way it should go, or if power is not entrusted to them, they will find a way to get power regardless. And we still see, even in the Republican constitutional dispensation, we still see people flout the law. We still see people attack people. We still see people defame people. We still see people do things that has occasioned the experiences that we've had in the past. So system-wise, we still haven't learned a lot. And I think even in the person, the desire or the quest, personal quest to be powerful, to attain power and use it the way that people want to use it, has actually undermined our whole concepts of what? Respecting the law and living as law-abiding citizens. From the word go, Daniel, the work of the commission was not supposed to retributively punish those who have committed those acts. Because one, the transitional provisions in the 1992 Constitution makes it very difficult, actually protected these people from prosecution. So and people were also very afraid that Jerry Rawlings was still powerful and he might come back if he was perceived to be being winch hunted. So the only remit within the Constitution was to set up a restorative mechanism that could allow people to seek forgiveness, seek healing, tell the truth about what happened. Then we can move together collectively as a state.
Okay. Let me finally ask Nitiaka the second, and this will be like our final comments before we end today's conversation for today at least. I think I must come home to the palace to to hear a bit more. But for us here, America escaped prison.
Yes.
After this.
Yes.
And you were cordial with him?
I was. And after my detention at BNI and release, I was one day walking free, driving my car, and the former Inspector General of Police, Peter Namfuri, saw me around 37 and he flagged. When I stopped, and I came from my car, he also came from his car, and we were chatting. He asked whether I was still around. I said, yes. Don't you have a passport? I said, I have a passport. Then he said I should get out of the town, that their hands were being twisted. When I was in the cells, Peter Namfuri and his team, Bright Akwete, Ifadat, and so on, interrogated me from that September to November on 2-3 occasions. And so we knew ourselves very well. In fact, even before my detention at the BNI, we've been meeting at the prison's mess and then the police mess. So we knew ourselves. So he said I should get out of the town. So immediately I got home. I just picked a bag and went to Lome. At Lome, I registered with the UNHRC.
UNHCR, High Commission for Refugees.
That's right.
Okay.
I registered and I was given two options to take one. Either I stay in Lome or I leave Lome to any destination of my choice, especially Britain, America, Germany, and so on. But I chose to stay in Lome because I was under the impression that the coup will not last for too long and there will be a change and I will come back to office. But I stayed there for over a year. Money were brought to me from Ghana for me to be able to eat until I couldn't stay any longer. I couldn't work because the national language over there is French and Ewe. And I couldn't speak any of them, so I couldn't work. So I decided to go to Nigeria, where I had some relatives. So I went to Nigeria. I stayed in Nigeria for 12 years.
Did you ever meet America again?
In Lome. Yes, in Lome.
You met him?
I met America. In Lome, we were quite many Ghanaians. And everybody wanted to make money from America. So he also refused West Africa magazine, is it New Times? Those old magazines you can think about. People were arranging for these magazines to come and interview and get something from America. And so people started telling him, demand $1 million, demand this. So he refused to give interviews to these newspapers, Newsweek and Times and those. He refused to do that. So I met America.
When was the last time you spoke to him?
No, that should be in around 84.
84?
Yes.
In Lome?
In Lome, yes.
What did he tell you? Did he ever express remorse? Did he ever seem sorry for what he had done?
We didn't talk about that. That had gone away from what we discussed in Ghana. But in Lome, we were only thinking about the coup and our lives. That was all.
Thank you very much, Inote Tiaka II, known in private life as Magnus Note Okwe. And he has been helping us with accounts, first-hand accounts of what happened in 1982 and 83 when the perpetrators of the killing of the judges were brought to prison. Dr. Ali Dusedu is a political scientist, University of Ghana. He has been helping us understand better the work that the National Reconciliation Commission did. That's this is where this conversation comes to an end. Thanks, gentlemen, for visiting us in our studios this morning. Have a great day.
Thank you.